Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is just another market update video and actually some new setups that I want to get to you. But basically, I just want to go out and say that the market at this point right now, with so much news focused on Syria, is really at a point where it's hard to make an educated call on where we think this market might be going, where I think this market's going. Typically, I kind of go with the stochastics and some of the other indicators, the trend forming indicators, the higher highs and the higher lows, and just basic technical analysis. And when outside news comes into play with the certain support levels and levels that we're watching at, it throws everything out of whack, and we have to be very cautious going forward. So I just want to make that clear. Going forward, I want to be very cautious in the next couple of days, because the news has taken this and has run with it. Really, it has run with it. It is crazy. We have news as everything is under the microscope. If someone, one of the senators, makes a statement about who he's going to side with, it's get released, and the market can move on that. We saw it today. Boehner came out and saying that he was going to support the president and on any strike in Syria, and the market took a dump, and that's where we actually rolled over, is exactly when that happened. So right now the market seems to be kind of pro not going to war, and just it's a difficult situation. I'm not going to say much more about it. I mean, we could all guess what's going to happen and how this is going to play out. I could guess just like the next person. I could throw in anything. But we have any bad news that comes from this, if this thing escalates in any way, the market's going to feel that. So technical levels are going to go out the window. Now let's just say the what ifs. What ifs? All right. That's what I want to play with. And in this video, I'm going to play in a suggestion that what if the market is pricing in something like this, because that's what happens with the market. The market takes an event. We had this latest event back here. We had a tapering talk, and we could see the market kind of got flushed through in there. And here we start to see the Syria come into news. Now, there's an underlying trend line. We could easily pull back much further in the market. So this is a spiders right now. But going into this week, I basically took a look at the SPX, and we took a look at that 60-minute chart, and we could see that 60-minute chart really, we had a 1650 target for this week, and we came up and hit 1650 basically this morning. Got a little bit above it. That's on the cash, but really on the futures, we talked about that 1650 level, and it came right up to the top of that level, and the market turned over. The 60-minute chart looks negative. It looks negative. The overall pattern here is a typical pattern that you see as a bear flag, that move down, that sideways upward consolidation, and a follow through down. But this is all going to play out with news. More negative news. We have a potential to break down here and move back down. We have a potential to break down here. So that has to be considered. And what happens if the market, some news comes out and this ends up being an event that's not really event worthy, and we've really just blown it out of proportion once again, as we like to do in the media. If this was any other time in the history of our country, I mean, it would probably be different. I mean, this is, and I'm not trying to hold back of getting political with you, but you think back in the days of Douglas MacArthur and Patton, and when when war was war. I mean, now we've really taken this scenario and really broke it down to making sure my grandmother gives permission to a strike in this area. I tell you, if my grandmother was alive today, she'd probably get a letter from the president asking for permission. Is it the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? Well, this is the way we have evolved, and it is what it is. So with that, it is. It's just a weirdness that's happening out there. I've never seen things run like they're being run right now when it comes to this event. It's amazing, and this kind of throws the market into a kind of an indecisive point here. So let's just say we discount things. I'm taking a look at a couple different stocks. The kick-ass trade of the week today would have worked out fine if you, and I open this, I kind of give this one out to the general public. Every Friday when I send out the watch list, I put one stock up I think is one of the best bets for the week. And Church Dwight is a great HPS setup. And the HPS setup here consists of that recognizable channel, underlying support, different things that's oversold stochastics. And there's a lot of things here that you gotta like on this. This is also like kind of a trend line break, trend retracement play, coming back to support, coming back with oversold level. Everything here pointed out really nice. We also left a nice little candle start to develop here. So we could definitely see this pushing back up, but I still say this is one of the best bets for the week. Now, it's not going to work that way. I mean, it would be great if it did, but it is a fantastic setup here in CHD. Now, say, we launch and the government wasn't behind the launch, or the Congress wasn't behind the launch, and there's all this, all this news coverage and fear in the markets. What's going to happen? Well, kapooey. All these patterns might break down. But technically speaking, if things kind of work their way out, these are the levels that you got to be liking. CHD at this level. Craft, KRFT, right off of this lower trend line. And again, starting to break out on Craft. Craft coming out of a 4-day consolidation. We like it. And Target, TGT. You got to love this Target setup here. I mean, this is like a nice pullback way off the lows, way off the high, and it's starting to come out of that base here and starting to push back up. Now, again, market is being stifled by the news, and any bad news could easily push these stocks down further. So you have to go in here understanding the risk involved. Probably best to be, I wouldn't even, gamble with too many heavy shorts at this thing, unless that's what you're doing. You gamble and things fall apart. You gamble and it escalates, and then you have that gamble playing out. I like to get something on my side. I like the statistics of the HPS setups. I love when things work together, so I try to stick to those things. And right now, I know that the outside market news has influenced a lot of chart patterns and things we're going to embed, and there's we don't have that criteria we need to be able to trade this market effectively. But these are the great setups that are setting up. Budweiser, actually, throwing out was on the watch list for this week, and a nice pullback here in Budweiser, and you can see the gap ups. These all have one thing in common. This is a channel breakout stochastic rotation setup. There's many other ones, and I detail all these on the watch list for this week. So just go back. There's tremendous setups on the watch list for this week. All right. So, but again, just to touch base on some things here. Take a look at this underlying trend line on Budweiser too. I think we outlined all this. But this overhead trend line, you can see how these things just play a beautiful part. Once you get down into this level, it doesn't have to be pinpointing exact to the penny entry, but once you get into that zone, and that's what we have at the HPS site. So again, we're going to just continue to wade through this market. If this news event wasn't in front of us, I'm sure they'll start to worrying about something else. But I don't think the debt ceiling is going to be much of an issue this year. I just, I think they tried to fool you once on that, and they realized, hey, you just raised the debt ceiling. Let's move on with that. But this Syrian thing, it could escalate. We're going to see what happens. Other than that, still like the market for more upside. But that's if we played on a fair territory. Just technically speaking, I do like it for one more push higher. And I have to take a drink here. Oh, that's good. That's better for the throat. One other thing I wanted to mention. Brian wanted me to continue to let me do an update of the dashboard, and just kind of show you, for those people out there not familiar with the dashboard or haven't been able to, haven't really logged on to it, and how to log on to it. If you're on the main site, which what the main site looks like. Let me just bring that up right here. This is the main site real fast. DayTraderRockStar. And we get rid of that music. Bry Guy has a show on right now, and you can see everything here. Down here we got the blog posts, portfolios, the watch list. But if you sign in and go down here, just click on the dashboard right here. There's a couple links to it. What's going to pop up here? I want to pause the main show right now so you don't get that. What you're seeing now is the dashboard, the trader dashboard. And on that, you have all your channels, all your music channels. If I click on the main, you're going to hear whoever's on DTR1. Right now, we have Bright Guy on playing some music. Auxiliary channel is another channel we have that could interchange with that. The news, Mr. Land and Benzinger news. Music, if you don't like the music, you could actually mute it. And then we move down here to the alerts, the HPS alerts. We're going to move this down here. And the setups you're seeing... on the again, we start off here with nothing, or you can activate them all. And when you activate them all, everything gets mixed in together. So we have the trade alerts, we have the HPS alerts, we have the HPS 25 alerts, news coming from Financial Juice, the bot systems where we have new bots are going to be posting their trades in the room. The Trading Algo X, the gas bot, and some other new bots which haven't been announced yet, which will be announced very soon, probably this week. And again, the news. Then we have the HPS 25, which are 25 key components that we follow, like Philip Morris, the really quality names, Agilent, Apple, Aetna, Costco, Deere. But these stocks, we put them in. I put them through the machine, and the machine tells me when short term they're overbought or oversold. But even better, these are the stocks that we focus on during the week on the HPS setups. And when they do set up it as an HPS trade, those charts get all detailed for you up here on the top. If you go up to the top, you'll see the HPS watch list, and you click on that, and that's the watch list video. Let me go back here a second. HPS site right there, and then from there you have each one of these setups. Again, the CHD, which is the kick-ass trade, but you'll see how it's broken down for you. So this is all being a member of Day Trading Radio. You get all this for just $29.95 a month. And you get all the setups here, and you can see when they do activate, you get the email sent directly to you, the profit zone. If it hits profit zone or to stop, the email automatically gets sent to you, so you're never behind on the trade. You always know what the alerts are. And the setups are on quality names, and they're all based off the pattern recognition and the system HPS. All right, so that's basically the last thing I wanted to talk about. Other than the markets and the situation we're at in the markets, and Budweiser again is an HPS setup right there. You can see that. Let's see what else we had, and all those trade alerts while we're trading, get posted here too. And you could filter these out too. Here's the bots. It's the trade alerts. I picked up Verizon today. Verizon, and Philip Morris. So again, it started picking up a little Verizon on that gap down. It worked out great. And let's talk about Verizon a second. VZ was what we call X marks the spot trade. It's where you have two trend lines converging at one spot, and it's really a fantastic trade. You have two pivot areas here. You draw that trend line that goes right under here. This downward trend line is based off a 1, 2, 3 pattern, meaning if you have 3 pivots, you could always calculate your 4th pivot. When these two come into range and your stock, basically it's not a, you draw a window around there, and that window really encompasses that area you start to look at, and this is what we call the HPS area. And once it pulls down into that, knowing that trend line is going to be key, we took it right off that trend line and reversed hard, moved up over $1, and the trade is on now, and we're doing pretty good on it. So again, looking for this probably to bounce back up. This was after the Vodafone acquisition today. But again, you can see the nice pattern and why the setup was there, and and you can see those alerts, and each one of those alerts gets sent out too. So great setup here in Verizon. Everything else, my voice was shot today on the radio. I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll get a little bit better tomorrow, and we'll be back at it tomorrow early 8 o'clock a.m. daytraderradio.com, and I'll see you then.